So Sid Krupp on the Semaphore platform says, if you were on the Joe Rogan Experience and he asks you what the explanation of is for Bigfoot, what would you say? I would say that Bigfoot is a perfect example of a monster. That Bigfoot is, in some ways, something that has an unclear identity, which is presenting itself to us. And so the thing is that it's kind of funny. I always think about this, which is that if you ever caught the Bigfoot, then Bigfoot would disappear, because you'd say, well, that's not Bigfoot. That's whatever it is, right? Though they'd say that's a very hairy line of men, or they'd say, oh, this is just it's just a form of northern ape that we hadn't found yet, and now we found this northern ape. So this is the thing about things like Bigfoot, is that they help you understand what the unknown, what the category of the strange and the unknown is that it appears in the margins of your peripheral vision and your peripheral perception, and it presents itself in grainy photographs, in secondhand accounts. And so you have this, and then so what happens is that it takes on a very mythological shape, and it takes on the mythological shape of what those strange things are. And the strange things are usually something like residues from an ancient world. That's usually how they present themselves to us, because residues from an ancient world that is no longer connected to us is related to the fragmentary evidence. It's related to the idea that we see forms, but we don't totally understand what they are. And so whether it's the Loch Ness Monster, whether it's Bigfoot, whether it's like Chupacabra or whatever, the monster presents itself as a hybrid, as something that is not connected to our world, either from an ancient world that we don't have access to, an ancient civilization, a residue of a race of men that we don't have contact with anymore, or the interdimensional being thing is the same. It's all about alien or non-understood, non-connected things that are presenting themselves to us in our periphery. And like I said, once you name it, then it stops being that, right? And so, a very simple example, the way that we understand dragon, it's really important. So, do dragons exist? And there are churches in Europe, all over the place, where there are taxidermy dragons in the church that are on the wall or that are in different places that have been stuffed, and you can see, there it is, there's the dragon. And then modern people will say, well, that's not a dragon, that's a crocodile. Anyway, so I hope that makes sense to you. And so hopefully that's what I would say to Joe Rogan. But the fact that this is how I explain things, and this is what I would say to Joe Rogan, is probably one of the reasons why I'll never be on Joe Rogan. If Joe Rogan was going to have me on his podcast, he had plenty of opportunities to do so. And so the fact that I'm not going to be there is because I think that the way that I speak about reality and the way that he understands the world just there's not many connections there. They don't really jive together. So,